She cried.
Okay, you know what? Let's do 5-minute takes.
Yes.
And then people can...
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
So
who's starting?
Okay. Hi everyone and welcome to CBR. Today is our first point. But anyway, let's shoot.
Alright, cool guys. Today we're discussing our first days at CBR. We figured because it's the first time we do a podcast, let's discuss our other firsts. We figured the best place to start is our first days. We have different generations of CBR over here. We have like people who started literally a month ago. We have a young intern over there. We have Alan. That's all I have to say about Alan. And we have Duduza, who's part of the old school. And I guess low-key, I'm also part of the old school. So let's start with the youngest person in the room, Ori.
Pretty much came into the office and there was this sign welcoming me, which was really great. But then I kind of just sat at the desk waiting for somebody to tell me what to do because I really didn't know what was flying. Eventually, I see people whispering and didn't know what they were saying, but it was so cool to just see an agency and be in an agency for the very first time. I really enjoyed it. And then it was really cool. It was kind of scary to see all the different people and what they were doing and what people were getting up to and how intense the environment was. But I definitely have learned so much, and it was really one of the coolest days as far as I remember, yeah.
And what would you say your expectations versus the reality of the first day were? How intense was that contrast?
I think it wasn't as bad as I actually expected it to be. I thought it would be way worse. But it was actually pretty cool. I expected, to be writing in notes the whole day and very, very, very intense. But I think it was much better than I ever anticipated it could be. So it was a good day. And it was really a good day.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So yeah, Ori is how 4 months?
4 months, yeah.
She's still kind of new, but also adjusted to everything. I'd say she's part of the new school of CBR. She's seen us at, I think right now, this is our best. We hope it gets better. But now let's switch over to someone who was there at the start. Duduza?
Yeah.
Do you remember your first day? How long ago was it?
In the beginning. I don't remember how long ago it was, honestly, but I do remember the day very well. Generally, when you come to any workplace, the first thing is an interview. So your first day will be and any workplace is the interview. I didn't come here for an interview. I came to help these guys move into this building.
Oh.
When they were moving into this building, they needed some things to be hung up and some things finished to be moved around. I happened to be relatives of one of the pips that used to work here, Sunny. He was here on day one of this company. And while I was working on that, I told Craig, who is the C in CBR, I told him, I'm going to come work here one day.
Speak it into existence, brother.
And I don't know how many weeks after that, I had a position here. It was for a website maintenance for all this Bigfest McCarthy on all these brands. And when they invited me over, I told them I wouldn't be coming for an interview. I'm actually coming to work.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Okay.
So when I got here, I actually found my desk, my seat prepared, and I was given a task. I was told if I am able to complete this task in the day, I'm in for a probation period. And for me, since that day till today, every day is a test for me.
So you did complete that task?
I'm not sure if I'm still working on the task.
Do you remember what the task was?
Sure. I'm allowed to say the client?
No.
Okay.
There was a client with a big website project, developing a website project, and they needed somebody who's articulate in WordPress. I happened to be very good in WordPress, and that was the task.
Okay. And since then, I think you've probably more than me by like a few months, seeing this place change and transform and grow and become something I don't even think when you started you thought it would become. For you, how has that growth from first day to where we are right now, literally launching our first ever podcast, how has that growth been for you in terms of your own personal growth, your own career, everything that you thought it would be at the start and what it is now?
Everybody wants to grow in a career, and everybody wants to grow whichever industry they are in. And for me, as I have envisioned it, perhaps a lot more in terms of the knowledge that I've acquired from what I know today and what I knew back then are totally different things. Me back then and me now are totally different people. So it's been an exponential growth, if I may say.
Okay.
For both CBR, myself as well.
Okay. Cool. That is Duduza's story. He's the, can I say, Uidlo's Lalaikaya. He's the ancestor. And we're busy speaking about growth, the growth of CBR, where we were and where we find ourselves now. Alan, you joined the team how long ago?
It's nearly 2 years ago already.
Damn, 2 years. And I think when I want to talk about your first day, it's particularly because you were coming into a department that didn't exist. So what was your first day like? Expectations, the reality, and the pressure of essentially creating something that we didn't have before?
It was very, very scary. So at a previous agency, I led a sales team. I was a sales manager at my previous company. I came here coming into an environment where there was no sales team at all. There was nobody to work alongside other than Craig, who's the C in CBR, which was very, very cool. He's got tons and tons of knowledge in the industry. He's got tons of sales experience, and he was somebody that I could learn from. So although there wasn't necessarily a department, there was somebody that I could lead or lean on and take and learn things from as I went along. And as things slowly journeyed, took me quite a long time to make my first sale, so there was a hell of a lot of pressure on me, and I was under lots of stress. Took it out on a few people here, but anyway, that is life. Also beyond that, once the sales started coming, obviously there's a bit of momentum that starts creeping into things. Your confidence naturally just goes up. So pitches and that type of stuff suddenly become a whole lot easier, and it also helps working around people who you can lean on and they can guide you and they can advise you along the way in totally different areas. And people sometimes that you don't necessarily think will inspire you to do something great in a pitch, they're the ones that actually inspire you to do something great in a pitch. So that's really, really cool. So it's not just my success or my drive or whatever that's got us to where we are in terms of the sales area, but it's also the team around us as a whole, because everybody is a part of that sales process, even if you don't think so. Even the lady cleaning the kitchen is a part of that process. Even the lady who comes in to clean the meeting room. If the meeting room isn't clean before you bring a client in, invariably you're not going to get the deal.
Yeah.
So it literally starts from the bottom of the company straight to the top. And it's about the vision that you've got with the company, where you want to take it, and the team around you that helps close things. So it was a very interesting journey, my journey. So mine's a complete journey, not a first day journey.
Yeah.
And my journey's still going on and on. I still see every day that I walk through the doors here as a first day. Like my colleague Deduza said, when you walk in every single day, you're starting your probation. And he's so right.
Cool.
That's me, guys.
Thanks, Alan. Lilita, you joined us as a community manager, and I think that is part of this evolution and growth we've been speaking about, because for a long time, like, you hear the word community manager and we always talk about how our parents think we're just on Facebook, on Twitter saying certain things, but it's bigger than that. And I think when you came in here, whether you knew it or not, there was like an expectation of you essentially switching up the way we do community management, bringing in those innovations, but also helping to build the persona of all these brands. With all that pressure, whether you knew it or not, and with whatever experience you have of everything you've done, how did you feel coming into your first day? What were your expectations, and what was the difference between the expectation and the reality?
Firstly, work. First day. I don't actually think I remember my first day very well. I really ended up joining. Well, I walked into the doors and I just literally felt like I was with the family. From the Mamzo, from walking in, I was like, hey, Mamzo, can I get a makuinya? Already planning my lunch for the day.
Yeah.
And then I think Nisha took me around to meet everyone and it was like, okay, cool, yeah, this. But I think more than anything, which I also mentioned in my interview, I'm very social. So I was like, okay, if I can get in the right terms with anyone and everyone from the first day, if there's anything I need later on, I can be like, hey, Minnie, listen. Remember when we spoke about that?
Also, is this part of your job?
It is.
She's
I'm a community manager.
She's managing the community,
So I need to be able to know that what I'm doing online has a clear connection to what I do in real life. I would not be able to work with people online if I don't know how to work with them in person. And I think we were talking about it the other day, but I don't think we talk about how important it is for you in certain career paths that your personality aligns with what you do. And for me, I think that's what my first day was about. So I think once I was able to understand the way in which people work here and the way in which people communicate, I think more than anything, I was really happy about the music. I was just like, this is great. What? That was like super, super, super cool.
Yeah.
So that was my first day. And then in terms of work, the person, Glenda was helping me with the passovers because she was moving somewhere else and to a high position. And so she made the transition so easy for me that I remember in the beginning I was just like, I do not want to make any mistake. And she's like, but why make mistakes? I'm like, no, because mine. She's like, and then, so just do it until you do it right. And I think everyone that I've been working with, especially in the social team, has been like super supportive and like super great. And I think if I could ever think of changing this experience, never. That first day was just.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. And then, the thing is, so I knew Laidao, he used to work here, and so we were Facebook friends, so we've never met until I saw his bio that he actually worked here, and I saw him on my interview. And then I see Kabelo, and Kabelo and I are connections, or are connected on LinkedIn. So to be quite honest, I'd already met quite a lot of you guys before I actually physically met you.
Okay.
All through the LinkedIn connections.
Cool.
So you've met them online.
This is what you call social media community management.
And like you spoke about work like in the first day. Did you have to like get into it immediately, or was there like a smooth handover period? Or from the jump, you were in there, you were doing that job, you were getting into it?
I had 3 days to figure it out.
Lucky you.
They were like, you see now, it's Monday, and I remember it was the 6th of Jan, early, I'm just come out of holiday, and it was like, okay, listen, by Wednesday, this is what's happening. And I'm like, okay, cool. Luckily for me, being short does help, because I didn't have to carry that much weight.
And since then, like, I need to stop saying but since then, as you've been doing the work, as you've been doing the job, getting more familiarized with everything around you, do you see the potential of what you can make this, the potential of what you can turn community management into, that it's more than just responding to a comment, it's more than just, hi, please send us your details, and it's part of a bigger marketing exercise. Like, do you see that vision? Do you see how you can fit into that?
Yeah. I think, what was it? Was it a week ago? I think a week ago I was assigned a project. Okay, it's my first month, but okay. So I get assigned this project and I'm okay, cool. What do I do? Where do I go? And I think in terms of answering any question you guys could ever ask me about how I achieved anything, I want 2 letters, PP, patience and persistence. I never want to beat myself up for not doing things, but at the same time, I never want to beat myself up for not succeeding the way I want to the first time. So I'm persistent enough to learn and understand, that the trends are changing. Now 2 words are able to explain frustration. We move. You literally just say we move and everyone understands that, listen, you might have gone through something really bad in your life and whatever it is. So for me, I'm able to see it. I see how things are going and I see how things are moving. And luckily for me, a lot of people that work here are like on par with what's currently happening. So that's fantastic.
Okay, cool. Just remember, kids, we move is not a coping mechanism. Get some help. No, we move. Yeah. But let's get some help. Okay, cool. Lerato, do you want to talk?
About what?
About your first day.
Wow.
2 days ago. Because like Lerato...
2 days ago, guys, now I'm still finding my feet around here. I still don't understand how things are done. I think the more I ask questions, the more I understand.
Yeah.
The more I work closely with other people, the more, I don't know, make more friends, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm still finding my feet, but I'll be fine.
Hey, but we move.
We move. Yeah,
we move.
I think I've moved.
So yeah, guys. Wait, this is what you're trying to say.
You've been asking us.
So who asked you?
On our first day,
I don't know.
And all that.
I don't know.
But one thing, I remember when you came in.
Yeah.
You...
Light.
Light.
Yeah.
I born of it.
What's my ancestor?
You see, even now, I don't know, right? You tell us about your first day. I don't mean that's okay.
Yeah, like...
Actually, when was your first day?
It was the 10th of February 2016.
Damn, you remember.
So yeah, I'd come from a bunch of other places in a completely different... It's the same industry, but like the roles were different. So when I came here, I was like, high key, I just want a different experience. I'd achieved a lot of my goals already, and I was like, let's start afresh. I came in here as an intern. So, as an intern, you hear these stories about coffee, you'll be running around doing it for everyone. So I came in here like, damn, it's gonna be my life for 3 months. But hey, we move. So I was ready, but yeah, I came in and it was the exact opposite. And my manager at the time was so laid back, but also had like this dedication to quality and consistency. And as I was looking around me, it exposed me to new things in digital. Because like in school, in the work that I did, you think you know what digital is, but you walk in here and you hear terms like SEO, which at the time I'm like, what? What are we doing? We're searching for who? And then you realize that social is more than just posting. Social is paid. Social is these things. And just in the first day alone, I was exposed to all these different concepts. And it was a bit overwhelming because you're like, damn, where do I fit in? Like, I come in as a copywriter, but there's so much potential to touch on different things, to experience different versions of what digital is. And since then, like Duduza was saying earlier, it's about every day is a new day to test yourself. Every day is a new day to create, to innovate, to change the game, essentially. And
it's like an exam every day.
Yeah, and since that day, I realized that this is bigger than what I thought it was. And my approach every day has been like that. When I came in, I was a very, very, very quiet and reserved human being. I think I didn't speak to anyone except my boss, and I think my kind of other boss.
You still don't speak.
So he knows where the bread is battered, right?
And community you understand. You've got this.
But I spent a long time just, not because I was anti-social, but it's figuring out what your place is in this bigger thing. And yeah, over time, I've learned to speak more, I've learned to voice my opinion more, I've learned to interact more and the key thing there is that you learn so much more from other people. Like I often have conversations with Duduza that aren't in the workday, aren't scheduled in the workday. But like we have conversations that influence how I start thinking going forward about strategies, about executions and all of that. And yeah, since that first day, I think I'm probably a way more different person now.
So that's so true.
I know more, I've experienced more. I think I'm also hungry for more because we were such a small agency, and as we keep growing, I think for me, my ambition keeps growing with the agency. It's what can we do next? What can we create next? How can we break that award-winning barrier? And yeah, that's the first day was just this reserved kid who wanted to do so much but didn't know where to start. And where I am now, I think if we go back 4 years and say, let's start a podcast, I wouldn't have been in this room at all. But now we see the potential of things like these, of potentially inspiring other people. And yeah, that's what it's become for me. It's about, as our slogan says, redefining the line. And it's more than that. It's changing the game. It's growing people, inspiring people like an Ori who's just started out, making her see that digital is a bigger thing. But yeah, that was my first day. Very quiet, very scared, excited, but very humble, keeping it low key. But yeah, that was it for me. And we move.
Just a question there.
Yes.
We move. When you came in, intern copywriter.
Yeah.
Right. And then you became, I saw you become a senior copywriter.
Yeah.
And before long, you joined the strategy team.
Mm-hmm.
And before the blink of an eye, you're managing the strategy team. You're the one heading up the strategy team. And everybody knows Minente as, like you say, this reserved kind of guy, like a person who's evolved. I know you're a person who don't talk a lot, but you work down. But in what you've grown into, like from that intern to management, your work showing up and stuff, what was the key drive in you, or that broke the barrier? Because you had to break some barriers from being reserved. Because when you're a leader, you don't get reserved. You don't need to be reserved. There's a certain you that needs to come out to lead. What drive in you that pushed you to
Look, man, I'm not gonna lie. The biggest drive was trying not to be broke. I was just trying to get for real. Like for me, that was the initial drive of trying to get more and improve my situation, my life, everything. But that ambition of trying to get more filtered down into everything else. It filtered down into the quality of work. It filtered down into the consistency of work. It filtered down into learning more. It filtered down into all these different other things. And even with when we create strategies and all of that, it's make your one goal quality. Everything else underneath that will be taken care of.
100%.
And for me, like, I've always been about the quality, but at the time I was just like, trying to get paid. Trying to get that whip, trying to get that crib. And
you got that?
Yeah, Yeah. And like even today, low key is still a driving factor, but now it's...
You should stop saying low key. You should stop being low key.
Like, it's still a driving factor, but now it's a bigger agency thing. Like, you feel like you're a custodian of this place. Like, you want to get to that next level. You want to produce that game-changing, award-winning work. And I think for a lot of us now, the drive is that. How am I going to make a difference in this agency that gets us to that next level? Because you and me, we've seen that growth. And now we're getting in people who are experienced, who are quality, who have these guys who have that knowledge already and are adding to this thing that we're trying to build. And that's the thing. I think all of us have this drive, and when we're all working towards that goal, it'll become whatever version of success you think it is for you. we're eventually gonna get there. That's for me. Not gonna lie, money was the driving force, but it filtered down into many other things that have resulted in where I'm at and where I want us to be as an agency.
So
Just put them 7
it was a really genuine question.
Yeah.
This is the whole.
Like, my head is tired and I want to drink. Hold
For
up.
them to get where you are. Yeah. Or even off camera, just answer that. Like if there's a day that you would want, that you could really leave, right?
Yeah.
That you would say, okay, these guys should leave on their party at CBR. Which day would it be?
I think for me, it's the moment you realize not how you fit in, but the fact that you create that space. Like, yeah, you're hired as this thing, but you craft out that space. Like, we're growing, but I still think we're small enough to be able to craft that space of, this is my niche in this agency. Here's a thing no one else can do. Like, I always look at how Tim Kosi came in. He came in as another thing completely, but he has literally carved out this space for himself that he didn't have. But yeah, for me, it's, you've been hired as this thing, but look beyond that and craft out your space. Find a thing that no one else can do. Cheers, man. The B and CBR. Find the thing that you can do that no one else can do, but also something that people look to and say, shit, I want to be doing that. I want to be learning how to do that. Like, once you start crafting out that niche, like, you become that go-to. And yeah, like, it's always hard to find your space, your place in a new place. But once you do, yeah, man, like, I think the possibilities are
Milk it for
endless.
what it's worth. Milk it.
For what it's
For what
worth.
it's worth.
Yeah.
Okay,
outro
nice.
time.
Thank you so much to everyone for
That over.
what? Okay.
For watching.
What are they watching?
No, they're listening.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it listening or is it watching?
Both.
Listening and watching.
Hey guys, we've been smiling and just listening.
Let's go.
Thank you to everyone for watching. I hope that you guys were able to find this very informative. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the next episode. We'll be having some more people on the panel. Not so sure if you'll see the familiar. Can we go again?
Familiar.
Another?
We move. Let's say, let's say thank you to everyone for tuning in, whether you're listening or whether you're watching. Your support is so much loved and appreciated. From the team, from the first day of the CBR podcast sessions, we'd like to say thank you from Lilita, from Lerato, from Winetle, and Duduza.
Alan and Loyola.
Say bye, guys.
Ellen,
Bye.
Bye. Tune in, see you next time.
Sweet.
You're supposed to stop there, nigga. I even did a finger thing, like I was
No, guys, no.
This ain't gonna be 15 minutes, is it?
Nah, I knew it.
No, look, it's from Alcat.
Guys, I'm a man.